Hi, welcome to Toh Atin Gallery in Durango, Colorado. My name is Jackson Clark and I'm the owner of the gallery. It's been in the family since 1957. My grandfather, on my mother's side, actually was an Indian trader in the early 1900s, and later my father got involved in the Indian business in 1957. We've been in this gallery since 1983 and we're the largest Native American gallery in the state of Colorado. We also carry a nice collection of Southwestern style paintings and bronzes and some wonderful things that you'll enjoy finding at the gallery. We hope you'll come and visit us. If not in person, come to our website at tohatin.com. The Navajos started weaving wearing blankets 300 years ago after the Spanish arrived with sheep. You couldn't weave a Navajo rug without wool. The original blankets were pretty simple with stripes, a little bit of color, not a whole lot, but they were designed to be worn over the shoulder and were highly valued by other Native American tribes around the Southwest. And as you can see, they look a whole lot better on a person than they do on a wall or a floor. The Navajo people were imprisoned at a place called Bosque Redondo over in eastern New Mexico. And during that time period, they began to adopt the white person's dress, the blue jeans, the Pendleton blankets. And it became clear that the Navajo wearing blanket was not a long time to be in the future. Ultimately, what happened is the Navajos returned to their reservation in New Mexico and Arizona. And when they got there, they found trading posts because during the time period of the war, the traders had established these posts to deal with the Navajo people, Navajo trade. And they were grocery stores. You know, they carried pots and pans and they sold sheep and sold cloth and things like that, groceries. But they found out the Navajo people had no money, right? So what do? You have to create something that can make some cash that the trader can make some money on and the Navajo people can survive on. And what they did is they decided to work with the Navajo people to create the Navajo rug. What they did is they said, these people have a great skill of weaving, let's convert that into a skill of weaving for the floor rather than for the body. And so they began to encourage the use of borders around the edge of these weavings. This is a piece that was made in the 1920s at a place called Crystal, New Mexico. They were woven a little bit heavier and thicker so they would wear well on the floor. And they became very popular in eastern parlors and for tourists coming across the Southwest. And there aren't many people who had grandparents that traveled across the Southwest on the train and stopped at a Harvey hotel that didn't end up with a nice Navajo rug to take home as a souvenir. It continued to get better and better and more popular, and what happened is that each trading post began to develop its own style of weaving. At the Two Gray Hills trading post, which is probably the most famous of all the Navajo posts, the traders there liked the natural browns, grays, blacks, and whites. And so they encouraged the weavers to weave patterns with those colors. There's no dye in this weaving. It's all the natural wool color from the sheep. So the woman had her own sheep, she carded the wool, she spun the wool, she cleaned the wool, then she separated the different fibers and wove these beautiful rugs. At another trading post down south in Ganado, Arizona, John Lorenzo Hubble liked red, gray, black, and white, and he encouraged the weavers to weave with those colors. In fact, it was said that he would buy any kind of rug that he brought in as long as it was red, gray, black, and white. But the Ganado rug became, a Ganado red Navajo weaving became the staple for that particular area. Sometimes people ask about the Navajo weavings that were woven with vegetal dyes or plant dyes. Well, that never really happened until the 1930s and 40s when a woman named Mrs. Lippincott, Sally Lippincott, bought the Wide Ruins trading post and began to encourage the weavers to use those beautiful vegetal dyes. So around Wide Ruins and Chinle, another close by trading post, this style began to evolve. Around the Shiprock area, the traders said, why don't you take some of the figures that you use in your healing sand paintings and put those into a rug? And these figures are called yays, which means deity or god in Navajo. And they began to put those on rugs and created the yay pattern, which is really popular for tourists at that time. And it was primarily woven in the Shiprock area. Other weavers today are reaching out and doing entirely different things, creating pictorial designs based on sort of the Grandma Moses motif. Or you have weavers that are stepping out and creating these absolutely beautiful contemporary pieces, because today they don't have to go to a trading post. In fact, most of the trading posts are gone, and they can come from Ganado, Arizona to Durango, Colorado and sell their rugs to us or to anybody else that wants to buy them. The people ask me a lot of times who our favorite weavers are, and it's hard to say, but there is a woman. This lady is 94 years old, and Navajo weavers are on average at least 50 years old, so there aren't a lot of them in the younger end of the category. But when you have a woman that's 94 and can weave a beautiful piece like this, you have to be really, really proud to be part of promoting that art form. So we carry a lot of Navajo weavings. We have probably more Navajo weavings than any other gallery or store in the United States, and we'd love to go through them with you and answer questions. Be sure and visit our website if you'd like to get an overview of all of those.